Hey everybody, it's Jessica, corporate recruiter, and I'm on LinkedIn as normal. LinkedIn is a professional social media type of site used for companies to brand themselves, people to brand themselves in a professional way. But something that LinkedIn has as a nice feature is they do highlight trending news and something that, or at least just things that people are talking about. Anyway, something that I noticed was trending today is basically people were talking about bad interview experiences and what to do during a bad interview. And I will say that as a job seeker, because I look for candidates for jobs, but I also have been a job seeker many times, having held over 15 jobs and interviewed for all of them. You're bound to have a bad interview at some point. Unfortunately, not everyone is trained well at interviewing. Some people are don't understand what you can say and what you should say and what you cannot say, and so it can sometimes make for an awkward interview. In my experience, I had an interview where one of the interviewers, actually, you could tell he was not prepared, didn't really have questions, and went on to ask me if what my religion was. And immediately they did understand, like, oh, I wasn't supposed to say that, but it was still very awkward. And I do know that I was of the same religion as them, but I also work in HR, and I just know it just kind of felt awkward because it's like, what? That's very personal. Why are you asking me about that? So anyway, we're talking about bad interviews. So I would say for someone that is undergoing an interview and it starts to get awkward, please don't be afraid to just leave. I mean, if you're having that kind of a bad experience, and I can understand some interviews get really bad, I've heard stories, you do not have to stay for the entire interview. A lot of times at that point, you kind of know the culture, the type of people that you'll be working with, which are typically your interviewers. And, if you're working directly with these people on a team and you're feeling awkward and things like that, and it's just a bad experience, you can walk out, you can leave. You do not have to stay for the full interview. If, let's say, the interview is an hour or 2 hours or whatever, you still have one person to meet with. Sure, it can be a courtesy to continue with the interview. You'll have to kind of determine that for yourself. But if it's just outright, like, you're feeling uncomfortable or you're feeling uneasy about things, or, even worse, you're not feeling very safe, leave. Definitely leave. And it's even okay to tell the team, if they ask well, what happened, well, tell them this happened, I felt uncomfortable, I no longer feel this is the right role for me and the right place for me. That's totally okay. I think it's better to just be open about that kind of thing, and just take care of yourself. So if you're ever in that type of situation where you're being interviewed, just don't be afraid to leave. So that's my little tidbit. I will probably spend a little time looking through what people say about this whole thing. But I mean, remember, with an interview, yes, the company is interviewing you, which I think is the most promoted when we talk about the whole idea of interviewing at companies. But remember, you're also interviewing that company. Who's to say that you even want to work there? With any interview, the company should be talking about how good it is to work there and why the role could be a match for you, as well as you talking about, why you're a fit for that company, So it is not a one-way street here. It is two-sided. The company has to be interested in you. You have to be interested in the company. And if you're not feeling like that is the right place for you, to the extent of you're just feeling like it is a completely bad situation that you no longer want to be in, just leave. Now, if you're being asked questions that you just don't know the answer to, or you're just like feeling a little the stress of the interview, I wouldn't say that's a bad interview. I would say an example of a bad interview could be, for example, maybe the interview is being kind of aggressive with you. Maybe they're asking you really personal questions like, religion, your politics, your, LGBTQ questions, or things like that that are completely unrelatable to the job at hand, or they're cursing and doing, just irate things. That would be a situation where maybe someone would be uncomfortable. Now, if they're asking you specific questions that you have to really think about, or you're feeling like just nervous about the interview, or I don't know, things like that, that's normal. And yes, you may feel a little uncomfortable, but that's kind of the interview process. Or if you're just feeling awkward, maybe because they're a little quieter than you, or maybe they're a talker and you're an introvert, that kind of thing, I wouldn't say that's a big deal. But I'm talking about these situations where, and I'll probably look through here too to see what the examples are, but if you're feeling really uncomfortable, you can leave. Obviously be polite about it, and you can even say like, hey, this is how I'm feeling at this time, I don't feel like it's right for me, whatever. You can say good luck with finding the right candidate, whatever, but just get out of there. You don't have to endure any kind of bad treatment, either in interviewing or even in a work life experience. Like if you're working and someone's doing something crazy, like get out of there. Anyway, that's all I got. I saw that trending and I was looking, I was thinking for a second, I was just like, man, what would I do if I've had like a really bad experience? I mean, in my example, it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was just like, okay, you're a bad interviewer. So I wasn't like, okay, I'm leaving. But I did tell them like, yeah, you're not supposed to answer that question. I'm not gonna answer. So to each their own. You kind of have to do what's right for you, and just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to leave. Your safety and how you're feeling is important, and again, it is a two-way street when it comes to interviews. You're interviewing the company and the company is interviewing you. So that's why I will leave you with. If you like the video, give me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what would you actually do if you were in this type of situation where the interview is getting just awkward or just outright bad, and maybe something aggressive is happening, or in the work environment something crazy is happening and you don't feel safe. What would you do, or what have you done if it's actually happened to you before? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.